Part 2 of the weekly Waffle, this week brought to you by the Peruvian Sea Monkey Breeding Association, and we're all related to the Black Caviar owners, so we're pumped about Sydney. Dan, what did you make of the Black Caviar experience on Saturday night?
Friday night it was.
Friday night too, I got there late.
Yeah.
A bit of room.
I didn't go.
Yeah.
But
so,
tuned in.
I thought it was great.
Tuned in. It was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching this and win probably just as much.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say this, but I'm a little bit over the Black Caviar experience. I'm a bit over the from 5 till 10 o'clock, totally Black Caviar. But you know, they want to do it. Anyone who relates the Black Caviar experience on Friday night to what normal racing is, I've got the head in the sand, because you know, for Matty Shilton, he's a good mate of mine, Matty, but for him to say that was an example of what it could be like on Cox Plate night, no. Unless Black Caviar's there, it won't be the same. Totally different crowd, totally different atmosphere. You can't relate what Black Caviar does at a racetrack to a normal race meeting when she's gone.
Yeah, I went to Bruce Springsteen on Sunday night.
Was she there?
At the at Melbourne Tennis Centre and Rod Laver Arena, and it didn't really relate at all to a first round win at the first round of the Australian Open when Serena Williams wins 6-0.
Not as good as pseudo echo at the.
Not really. So I don't think that's got anything. Black Caviar's got to do with anything. And the other thing is, if it becomes a night Cox Plate, it's a drunken bun fight, isn't it? Because on Friday night there was people just to experience Black Caviar. Spring Carnival, it's...
If they've packed in to see the Cox Plate, say 25,000 to see the Cox Plate.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any more on a night.
Right.
You're going to drop a fortune in turnover.
Yeah.
Because that's a fact.
Yep.
The figures show that if it's not correlating in the afternoon when people are betting, and the local residents are going to scream blue murder because it'll be bedlam.
And it's so easy to get out of Moonee Valley, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But on track, what do you make of the race tactics there? Because
brilliantly
Karate Queen.
Brilliantly organised by Pooh Moody.
Yeah.
You always thought she was going to lead.
Yeah.
Get her out, stack them up. Once Black Caviar's outside in the desert, nobody's going to come around.
No.
You're not going to come around Black Caviar. She only has to kick up and you park 3 wide. So they rode her to finish second and it went really well. What I liked about Black Caviar, people want to say, oh, she beat dingoes and all that sort of stuff. What I like about it, you only have to watch her action to see that she's at the top of her game.
She's happy, yeah.
She's floating along.
Yeah.
You compare that to what she did in those 2 runs in Adelaide, where she never looked comfortable.
I thought she broke down that first one in Adelaide.
Oh, she just never looked right. Yeah. In those runs, Luke slapped her, and she only found a length.
Yeah.
Little or no, no wonder she struggled when she got to England. She didn't go there right. Hopefully, if she goes this time, she's right. But she's certainly at the top of her game.
Here's some data which is factual. Got to take care in the 3,000 metre race between the 800 and 600. So we're comparing apples to apples on the same night. Ran faster than Black Caviar did. That's how slow they were going in that sprint race. The problem was Sean O'Donnell on Lucky Gray handing up the lead because they were going so slowly. Lucky Gray, even though he's a midfielder, could have led. He leads. Karate Queen either has to work hard to get past him or sits 1 wide. And Luke would have been happy to sit 3 wide in Black Caviar. That then brings the others in the race. So that's where a dynamic of a speed map can change.
I think they're all riding to run second.
Of course, and ultimately ran nowhere. But there's one horse who's super. I've wanted him as the exacta, but Faulkner actually was super.
Well, if he had got a clear run, he probably would have run second.
Or any type of tempo.
Terrific.
And now I've got to say, I did RSN Monday. The vitriol towards the owners, talk about jump the shark, was from the public was huge about once the story came out. Don't know where the final line is about the 220 tickets and the marquee that they wanted, but is it their fault that they're racing at Randwick, which is half completed? I mean,
no, I can't see what the whole story is.
Yeah.
As far as I know, in all past experiences other than Moonee Valley last Friday night, they've always paid for their tickets and paid for their marquee and paid for their catering. I'm assuming, and I believe from some of the comments from the owners, this is the same case.
Yeah.
So get off their back.
Yeah.
They're paying their way.
Why isn't it at Rosehill when 20,000 more people can see it too?
Yeah.
I mean, in the AFL, they don't schedule Carlton Collingwood at the Etihad Stadium.
No.
you maximise attendances. So
there's this love affair with Randwick though.
Oh, did you know?
There's this love affair. Mate, notice they've called it now it's Royal Randwick again.
Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking.
Do you know they're building a new grandstand there?
Apparently,
no one's ever said that
I was
before.
listening to Hoss the other day. They've laid the carpet.
I've laid some of my own carpet listening to these reports.
Carpet's down.
I'm not talking about the time Dennis Lilly used to promote either. Fair to go. And the other thing is, why doesn't racing seriously look at this and say, here, instead of trying to do pseudo deals with the owners, and the owners save pseudo appearance money,
Yeah.
why don't they say, you know what, the BMWs were 2.25 million, that's now going to TJ Smith, and the BMW could be worth $1 million. Who would scratch for the BMW? Those dingoes that are running around at the moment.
No, they won't. They won't. They'll run it. The point is, it's not going to make any difference to the race if you added $1 million. She's going to run it anyway. So
but it might get better horses for second. All of a sudden, Pierro's interested, or Pierro wouldn't be for the Doncaster. But what I'm saying, by having smaller prize money for the sprint races, it's making it easier to dodge Black Caviar.
Yeah, but
if it's monster
what's going to happen
money,
next year when Black Caviar's not there? Are they going to
they go back?
Go back.
Bloody oath. Don't worry about that.
Actually, you know, we're supposed to be the great breeders of sprinters. You know,
Yeah.
we claim we've got the best sprinters in the world,
Yes.
although we don't actually prove that. We go and win the King's Stand, but we don't win anything else.
Yes.
Occasionally win the
Hong Kong, we're good.
Yeah, we're good in Hong Kong.
Breeding.
But
Cool
there's
Caroline.
no great, apart from Black Caviar, and you know, we've got good sprinters,
Yeah.
but there's, you know, we shouldn't claim. We don't go to America and win the Breeders' Cup.
No.
So let's just sort of ease back on that. But we certainly do breed quality sprinters, no doubt about that, and it's an emphasis here. Where are they all? There's been no depth in our sprinters.
Not a lot of depth. No.
But no depth in our sprinters
You know what's
actually for
needed?
years.
You know what it's needed? It's needed the Australian Racing Board to upgrade all our races. Now our horses will get better.
Sprint races too.
Sprint
Great
races.
sprint races.
And happen to be fillies and mares, but it suits what happens in Asia apparently.
Oh yeah.
Dan, just give us your take there about the European comparison with the upgrading of races, because it's been so vital that we upgrade races down here, and when they get a bit narky when we hear that Racing New South Wales is only for the breeders and the tab, when they bring up one thing that isn't that the tab or the breeders complain about, we'll believe it. But in the meantime, your theory about the European upgrading versus Australian upgrading races?
Well, totally different. We're upgrading our races on an international ratings basis, because these races are now rating on an international basis.
And the Memsey Stakes has a good honour roll.
Yeah, and it's won by Group 1 horses, so it
Yes.
gets a higher rating. Absolute nonsense, because in overseas they don't use Group 1 races as lead-up races to other races. They don't use Group 2 races as lead-up. Some of the horses don't ever, once they get at Group 1 level, never go out of Group 1 level. They first up at a mile, first up at 2,000 metres. How is the Memsey a Group 1 race? It's an early spring lead-up race. None of the horses are ever at their top.
No.
They've got targets 6 and 8 weeks away. The fact that it's won by a Group 1 race is simply because it's a 1,400 metre weight for age race at the start of the carnival where all the good horses kick off in. They're half fit. It's a nonsense.
The Melbourne Cup is the race that stops the nation. The Memsey Stakes doesn't even make traffic busy in Neeram Road. So it should have some kind of presence, shouldn't it?
It's the race that makes you look at the result. That's all.
Exactly right. Now, just quickly, Sydney, fence off again, Rosehill, and then they come back, and then the last race winner wins. Everyone goes, see, there was nothing wrong with it. When blokes like Craig Williams, who walked the track, who's had a fair bit of success in his career, steers away from the fence, there's probably a fair chance it's off. Why can't they ever actually have it? Good, hard fence racing, which Caulfield gets criticised for.
It's probably worth going back to the fence in the last 2 races, because no one's been there, so it's fresh ground, and it
That's
probably
right.
levels out because they've dug up the centre. Jockeys aren't just following the leader; they're tracking before the turn 4 wide.
Yeah.
There was one horse, Red Tracer, should have won, because all the jockey wanted to do was get outside the leader.
That's right.
You could have driven a Mack truck up inside it, but he just
not
wouldn't
good
go
racing.
that little bit up inside. I think it would have won. It cost him a half length and it cost him the race.
Well, when you want Caulfield. By the way, one other thing about the Australian Racing Board, they're saying that in Asia, 3% of races are group races, so that means in Australia 3% of races should be.
Yeah, in England 3% of races, but in Europe we run the same number of Group 3 races as they do in all of Europe.
Could I put this to you? What happens if your horse isn't good enough for Sandown? Where does it race?
Well, you got to
Queensland?
Queensland.
Yeah, Queensland, South Australia. What if it's not good enough for Queensland, South Australia? Bow Desert, as Metro Queensland,
Broome.
Broome, and then if it's not good enough for there, you might get the picnic circuit. If you're not good enough for Hong Kong, do you get maybe this phrase? You don't want to know.
It's like a greyhound owner.
You don't
How's
wanna
your
know.
dog going?
You don't want to know.
Don't want to know.
I would say that you could use a percentage theory because in Hong Kong, if your horse isn't quite good enough, good luck to it.
When was the last time you seen an agistment foam in Hong Kong?
Not a lot of them.
No, not a lot.
Weekly Waffle, all the best.